welcome in. We had a bit of a break, but we've got another grand finals coming to you all. I'm Jay Turbo, joined alongside Captain Atsoka, as we've got Lubbock High Scythe up against Silas High Gold.
Yep, that we do, and honestly, I cannot wait to get this one underway. We've already seen some great matches back and forth non-stop since the get-go, and now we got the opportunity to look at both Lubbock High School and Silas High Gold. Now, keep in mind, last time that these two teams met up, they, unfortunately, on the side of Silas High, did fall in Game 5, but it went the full distance.
Exactly. It went the distance, that full series length. We're hoping for the same here today, as Silas had to scrap their way through the lowers. Lubbock have not dropped a single set this season and are looking to keep it that way, get a clean 10-0. But here we are, game number 1, Lubbock in the gray and Silas in the red.
Well, here we go. Without further ado, getting this next matchup underway. And so far, so good. Not much doing here on either side. So a nice little tug of war to start things off. As you see, the ball does find its way over in the side of Rocket here, who now has a wide open net on Silas, and the first goal will go to Lubbock High School.
And I was watching the sequence as you see Miata push forward and Rocket says, I'll get it right past, and there's no one else to defend. An early mistake pushing too far forward out of the midfield from Silas and Lubbock. They're going to take that one, as this is grand finals. You can't be leaving that much space.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And already you can see the kickoff going the way of Lubbock High yet again. And unfortunately for Ari Miata, they're having difficulty trying to get a read on that ball, but now the possession does go the way of Silas, as the swish and flick will not go in. It will be Clavian to get the save and clear it away.
Yeah, he hit him with the Leviosa, not the Leviosa, and Lubbock able to transition this back to the other side of the net, right over the post. Where's the finish? Nearly once again off the cross. Decent defense out of Silas as they are scrambling on the goal line. A double commit from both defenders. Rocket coming around the corner once again. There's no one to finish the job. And Silas keep this a 1-0 game. The pressure doesn't end as Soner trying to do what he may. And it's Ghosty over top with Clavian. And it is so close for both teams. And the boost is starting to run out. But good rotations out of Lubbock to keep stealing it away and keep Silas on the back foot, as this might be their chance to clear that once and for all.
Yeah, and as always, you can see Lubbock High School still keeping that line there on the midfield, literally just keeping the side of Silas confined in their own half time and time again, and again, making that happen through a lot of these boost stars. No real physical plays being made just yet, but right now, I really don't think Lubbock needs to. They have yet another opportunity to score here, and they are just keeping the side of SHS confined in their own half and keeping them playing defense for the majority of this match so far.
Both teams seem to be struggling with some double commits, as a very light touch out of Rocket with everyone scrambling on the goal line, nearly finding his way to the back of the net is Silas with their first opportunity to strike back onto offense. Miata gonna punch this up, but there's no immediate follow-up. A clean possession for Clavier, and won't be able to find that second touch. Will go back the way of Silas, but they're all stuck in this corner. Nice move out of Ghosty means that they won't be punished quite yet. Now trying to continue this carry, but there's no boost to work with. And Miata, we can see, just in the single digits until picking up that canister, and another shot deflected off the post and back into the gray territory.
Yep, and now, once again, we're looking at some revitalization coming from the side of Silas. They're finally putting themselves in the offensive side here and have an opportunity to score, as that one will drop low, but it is barely deflected. But I'm liking this newfound aggression coming from Silas. They may be able to equalize, as now we are just at the 2-minute mark.
And it seems that they've learned from their mistakes on that first goal. It's a nice pop-up from Soner, where they're keeping one player a little further back in the midfield, making sure they can react to these booming clears that Lubbock like to go for at times. It's allowed them to hold possession just that much longer. But still, Rocket trying to keep that aggression. Got that first goal, got the only goal of this game so far, and is now forced back onto defense, as Silas are getting that much tighter on their defense, able to get the clears that much faster. And it means that Lubbock have to be a little bit tighter to finish the job once again, as Soner a good contest, and another 50 in the midfield, finding its way back towards the red third.
And it's really been all defense right now from Silas, but they're doing a decent job. They're keeping the deficit only at 1, putting themselves within striking distance of equalizing, and now they're just trying to exhaust the resources of Lubbock High School. They're trying to return the favor with a lot of these boost steals and hoping that they can force a mistake to be made on the side of Lubbock.
flip. A shot attempted by Miata, and it looks like that might sail all the way back. Post once again saving Silas, as there have been so many shots that just barely go wide, and one missed touch will mean your hairline makes this a 2-0 game and nearly seals the deal, and this is just unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, this is a feels bad. Again, we saw an unfortunate whiff there, but I couldn't tell if maybe that was a little bit of mind trickery coming from Lubbock. It's a hard one to sell, but regardless, it's going to be a mistake that is capitalized on by Lubbock High Schools. Now, with 50 seconds left to go, they have an insurance goal.
This is going to be some serious speed necessary for Silas. And with your hairline just sort of floating past, trying to waste time, that's all Lubbock needs to do. Keep this ball out of their nets. Let the clock tick down as we near the 30-second mark. And Lubbock looking to take an early lead in this series and continue their streak of dominance that we've seen so far this season.
Absolutely. And again, you know, with that 20 seconds left to go and that dreaded hairline, joke's on you. I don't have one. I am bald and beautiful. Meanwhile, this looks to be a very beautiful play coming from Lubbock High, but they can't get it to go. And honestly, I don't think they need to. Just a couple of seconds left to go. If they can continue to run out this clock, they will secure themselves a victory. And the final few seconds will tick away, and that one goes right off the woodwork, but it doesn't matter. Lubbock High will take game number 1.
Oh, and that was a really good final look out of Silas. They were finally able to strike, deflected off the post twice in a row, but there just wasn't quite that finish. As we see 5 shots collective for Lubbock, but 3 from Silas. They were finding some of that similar pressure, but again, that opening goal, just one mistake being the real difference, I'd say, this game, because that second goal from Lubbock, it was unfortunate, but it was already so far down the clock that it felt Silas likely weren't coming back anyway. So I think we've got quite a good series shaping up, as both these teams looking very, very evenly matched.
Absolutely. And with that being said, you look at the stats, and it really isn't that big of a difference. Again, it's a 1-0 game. Still plenty of opportunity here for the side of Silas to try and make a comeback. This is a best-of-5 series. They are by no means out of it, and they still put up one heck of a fight. Now they just have to concentrate more on putting more shots on target and playing more defense. You had 2 saves on the side of Lubbock and none, if that. I don't even recall an epic save coming from Silas. But with that being said, they need to find a way to transition off of their failed attempts on offense in order to recover and get back on defense to avoid the counterattack.
Exactly. I think some of that might also come from their defense. They tend to scatter and panic a little bit, finding themselves all 3 in one corner, or double committing for certain balls and maybe leaving a player for an outlet pass, but instead it's going to be Miata right off the kickoff taking advantage, and Silas score their first goal of the series.
And there you have it. This is the way you want to start off game number 2. You fall short in game number 1. You need to make sure that you start off on the right foot in game number 2, and that's exactly what we saw from Silas. They score the first goal, and now for the first time, they have a lead over Lubbock.
This tempo change, I think, exactly what they needed. They needed that goal to pop the mentals back positive, as they were so close at the end of game 1. And I was feeling that hopefully they'd be able to find 1 goal back, but they got it in game number 2, where it's that much more important, not just for the scoreboard, but this time could be for that, again, early lead, the first lead of this series. Ghosty working behind is a little bit of technical difficulties, and Soner going to be able to get another shot on target, as Miata and the rest of the team adjusting well and now really putting that pressure onto the sides, as a dangerous deflection off the top is number 2 for Miata.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to see they hit the sweet spot here, even though it's a 50-50 right there off the waterfall down, and it's a feels bad. And it's a really difficult place for the defense, because even if they didn't touch it, there was still a player from Silas there ready to put that one in. So you are honestly down if you do, down if you don't. It's a feels bad, but hey, we take those, and that's going to be a 2-0 lead now for Silas.
It feels like Miata just coming alive in this game. What a risky clear, going for the pinch across the net. But this Silas team, they're passing together. They're moving upfield as a unit. And right now, dimed up number 3, as it's going to be Soner to finish it off.
Yeah, and I don't know what's happening now, but clearly Silas has turned on the gas. They are popping off in a major way, and that was a beautiful pass coming from Ghosty. And what we are just coming off of was the first game being 1-0. Now, 3 goals in just over a minute for Silas. This is now becoming a shooting frenzy for SHS.
That's exactly the kind of reset you want going into game number 2, and is why I always advocate for as long a series as possible in Rocket League. That best of 5, really letting each team show their skills, give them time to adapt, is another beautiful pass in the midfield, forcing a double commit out of Lubbock. It feels an inversion of what we saw in game number 1, where it was all this pressure coming out of the sides onto Silas, and this time it's the other way around.
Yep, that it is. And now you can see, once again, Lubbock trying to stake their claim on that midfield line by opening things up with a demo. But look at this. Look at the pressure coming from Silas. Not even worried about the midfield. They're trying to push Lubbock all the way back to their net, and it was working for a short time until finally Lubbock find themselves back into Silas territory.
Oh, and that was a dangerous moment. Saw Miata and Ghosty just run into each other, both backing off, and that was nearly a shot attempted for Lubbock, as that might have been the fire they needed to get back into this game. Is a lot of contact in a very dangerous position. Great pop-up from Clavian, but it still means this ball is going to be tough to defend, as Sonar, once again, another contest into the midfield. It's up, and no one is ready for the pass, as it'll just be a quick reset. Backboard attempt. Where's the finish? Light bouncing shot, and your hairline will finally be able to finish that one. Second follow-up, and Sonar gets their second of the game.
Well, and there you go. It's just shot after shot after shot. Literally just one-sided shot count here in game number 2, and it's going all the way of Silas High School as they find yet another off of the pass play, I might add. And now they have themselves a comfortable 4-0 lead right past halftime.
And it's just a complete 180 from what we saw. We saw this really kind of scared and panicking Silas squad, unable to defend at times, and now it's Silas moving up the field as a team. Very intentioned touches, leaving themselves outlet passes and forward members just like that. As a ping off the side, Sonar looks for the finish. Where's number 3? And it'll be Ghosty to pop it up and try and keep the attack alive. But a good transition for Lubbock might mean an opportunity, as there's more disruption out of the Silas back line. They managed to hold off the sides for now.
That they do. And you know what? We are really seeing a huge difference from game number 1 to game number 2. And, you know, we saw Silas really try to bring that aggression in game number 1, but it was all speed and no aim. There was no control. There was no substance. Now you can see it's a lot more refined, and that speed is paying off for Silas. Meanwhile, the read at the midfield from Lubbock will finally get their first goal on the board, thanks to Clavian.
And Ghosty just a little too late to the party. Clavian right there for the response. Great 50. And I think that's exactly what the sides needed, that mental reset. Can they get 3 in 90 seconds? I certainly hope so, to bring this to OT, but it's still a good adjustment, taking advantage of a couple mistakes, and nearly another kickoff goal as your hairline takes a shot.
You can see back into the side of Silas we go. Lubbock High School still trying to apply the pressure here, but once again, Silas not wavering. They are recovering extraordinarily well, and a nice 50 by Miata to put that one back in towards the midfield. And now Silas again on the attack. Will flick this one up high, but just a little bit too far, because now the rebuttal will finally be cleared away, and Lubbock High School will once again take possession.
It's all swish, no flick on that one, as very tight touch and such dangerous defense being played by Lubbock. Another double commit, and there's no one to defend. Is the shot there? The double is, as Ghosty makes a statement.
You know, I would hate to say this, but they are lucky this one went in. All 3 players committed on that ball. If that was just slightly off target, that ball's going the other way to an open net on the side of Silas. But good on the side of SHS to secure and to confirm that goal. Well done. Now, once again, we see Silas with a 4-goal lead.
And this, I don't think, has happened to Lubbock all season. They have been undefeated through series. Of course, they've dropped a couple games, and the last time these two teams met, it went to 5, as Lubbock's a miscommunication on the backboard, as that was nearly a very dangerous position. Good follow-up from Rocket. The shot isn't quite on target for one final mental fortitude goal, as this will be Silas commandingly picking up game number 2 after a pretty disappointing game number 1.
Absolutely, and with the final few seconds ticking away, Turbo, I think it's safe to say that this one is going to go to Silas High School, as now we will hit the 0-second mark, and let's keep a rule 0 well and alive, but finally the ball does touch ground, and the win will go to Silas.
I am so impressed by the ability of these players to adjust and the ability for all of them to step up when needed. Just a complete stylistic change out of Silas. And we're seeing Lubbock, they still had some decent opportunities, 5 shots and 3 saves out of Silas, which means just one of them was deflected off the post. But I was really impressed that even though Soner had all of those saves and was really that difference maker on the back line, Miata just creating so much space upfield and being ready to receive so many of those forward passes is just leaving one member upfield as an option, I think has completely blown this game open for Silas.
Oh, absolutely. And now this is what we're talking about with a little bit of sauce and a whole lot of substance. Before in game number 1, it was all sauce. They were just sprinting to the line every single time, rushing every single shot. And now they have a little bit more control, so they can have that speed and their accuracy too. So now we're seeing a much better result coming from Silas. Now with Lubbock High, they have to worry more about playing offense than defense, because once again, it's a low-scoring game for them. 2 games in a row, even though they won the first one, they only scored once. They need to start putting more shots on target like this one. Soner wasting no time at all. 7 seconds into game 3, and already Silas is on the board.
On back-to-back, Silas finding 7-second goals, as that is just Soner using that little post double tap. In Lubbock, I think they wanted the mental reset. They want to come into this game, let it get controlled, let it get a little messy in the midfield, but instead it's Silas coming hot off the presses and just destroying that first kickoff. As now Lubbock, I think they're going to have to find an answer to this Silas speed, as it's now got that precision we've talked about. Maybe a couple demos for that forward player. We're trying to disrupt the back line where there was so much contesting from Lubbock last game, or in game 1, and Silas panicking just a little bit. A little disruption might be all that they need as a good flick. Keep it controlled, and once again, a 50 up top, and Clavian answers it well.
Yeah, and now we see an overcommit there at the midfield. Could be an opportunity for Lubbock High, but they have been really slow to go on the offensive side. Again, playing a little bit too more passive. I think we need to see more aggression coming from Lubbock High. Like we saw in game number 1, they're being a little bit hesitant. And now that we're all the way here into game number 3, it looks as though they're starting to go a little numb on the thumbs. They need to step on the gas and start to go sick on the sticks with that shot going on, nearly going in, and finally Clavian will finish the job, and we have ourselves a tie ball game.
Oh, and Rocket, just what beautiful placement where Soner is on just such an awkward timing to respond to that ball. Clavian picks up the pieces, and that's what Lubbock wanted. They wanted an extended volley where they could pick out when Silas was too overextended, and Rocket, with some fantastic precision, was that shooter in game number 1 to find that opening goal, and once again has a great read on the game to see when their opportunity might arise here in game number 3.
Well, here we go. Tie ball game now. 3 minutes and 30 left to go, and it will be Lubbock on offense. But a huge double demo coming from Silas will give them more than enough opportunity to take possession back, with Clavian going to try and keep this one inside of that Silas territory.
Miata a little awkward on that recovery, means that Silas all packed into this corner. One player still sitting in net. That might have been an opportunity for Lubbock to pounce, and now Clavian can get a pass too. There it will be, is Ghosty just over top. Soner comes out of the net, tries to contest. It's still floating high, and Clavian can't find the pass, but fortunate for him, there's another response from your hairline as Rocket manages to get back on defense. And these are the adjustments I love to see out of both of these teams, where they're leaving that third member back. They're playing very fast defensive rotates because the counterattack has been so lethal.
That it has, and we have seen that time and time again, not just in this game, but throughout the series, as the transition from your hairline from defense to offense, the 1-2 fast break give and go between your hairline and Rocket will send that one into the back of the net, and Lubbock High will take the lead right before halftime.
And it feels like these teams are just answering each other's strengths with that same strategy, where game 2 was really defined by Silas having that forward player. And just like that, we saw Rocket with a great transition off of the clear. And now an open net, a decent defense, but not quite enough, as that's 3 up for Lubbock.
Okay, I want to make sure that I saw what I just saw. It looked as though the save might have been there, but they were dunked by their own teammate. But then again, it also looked like someone from Lubbock really just bullied that one in. They got the bump into the ball to just force that one in, to really bully that goal into the back of the net there. And now it is a 2-goal cushion for Lubbock High School.
Rocket going up once again, has been that team leader. When Rocket's doing well, it feels that Lubbock is doing well as Clavian. Oh, that was actually Rocket indeed finding the shot nearly. And Soner now all alone. Looks for a touch, pass up right off the corner. And all 3 members from Silas are in this attacking third. Makes it a dangerous counterattack as Clavian gets it past 1. No touch from number 2, but an awkward finish means that there's nothing to be had for your hairline, and Silas are going to be thankful that one didn't wind up in the back of their net.
Absolutely, and now an opportunity here for Silas again as they go for the pass out of the corner, and it will find the back of the net. Clavin and Rocket able to connect on the offensive side of the ball and now give themselves a 3-goal lead.
And game 2, game 3, they felt like they've been very, very similar in the sense that they're very high scoring for one team, very controlled from one team, but it's flipped that pressure, that tempo. It was Silas in 2, Lubbock now in 3, and it shows how these teams are just adjusting the play styles demonstrated from game to game. And that ability, that awareness, that game sense is so impressive to see for such young players in this team environment. But again, you don't make it to your conference grand finals without it, as another good look for Lubbock sent away.
And a fantastic point there, Turbo, as well, because you got to keep in mind, these may be high schoolers, but these could very well be the #1 draft picks going into the collegiate season. And we already know what type of presence Collegiate Rocket League has in the community. So do not be surprised if one day you see these players on the front lines of Collegiate Rocket League.
Exactly. And definitely as we look ahead further down the night, as good finish and a good response from Miata to keep that one out of the net. But we've got Lake Wales on the horizon, and they're another team that you're definitely going to be looking out for if you might follow CRL. So even if you're here to watch Lubbock and Silas, make sure that you've got your notifications on. You check out those matches later today, because you will see some very, very impressive young talent hit the pitch. But we've still got a series to finish here as Lubbock High up 4, looking to make it 5 as a good defense from Soner. Will likely be picking up game number 3 and the lead in this series.
And it should be that way. I don't want to be one to call it too soon, but if I were to rub my crystal balled brain, I'm pretty sure it would predict a win here for Lubbock High. Only 5 seconds left to go, and it is all but over but the crying here in game 3 as Lubbock High School will be riding off into the sunset for a win and now find themselves on match point.
And this is the situation I think Lubbock wanted to be in. They knew that Silas was going to be a strong opponent, and just look at the stats shift from game 2 to game 3. There were 5 shots from Lubbock in game number 2. There are 13 in game number 3, and it's the opposite for Silas, where they were up, I think, 7 or 8 shots and now down to 4. Just complete shift in offensive pressure. And Silas, their forward passes aren't working. Lubbock's been doing it better, so I want to see them try and find another answer. Is that demos? Is that more physicality? We're not sure yet, because the outlet passes, those forward passes, have already started to get deconstructed.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I got to point out here, again, Clavian, well-deserved MVP, 4 shots, 2 on target, and a save on the board. But to me, the unsung hero, the real difference maker, Rocket, coming in with 4 assists for 4 goals, 100% goal participation, a save on the board as well, and definitely the hidden factor for Lubbock High School, getting those pass plays that win the games. And now heading into game number 4, this could be the last chance for Silas High School.
And I have been so impressed by Rocket's game sense and ability to just spot out an opportunity. But right now, Miata's doing the same as Rocket can't defend. And another fast start for Silas as they need it, as it's match point, it's series point, and it's grand finals point.
Yeah, and we talked about how those pass plays win the games. Well, how about a pass play on the transition? Coming out from the corner of their own half, out to the mid, and a perfect shot and redirect coming from Silas to take that 1-goal lead. That is what they're going to need if they're going to want to try and send this one to game 5.
And it's those tiniest of margins. It is sometimes 1 goal that separates these teams. It's a very, very awkward clear, nearly finished off by your hairline. And we are about 30 seconds removed from that first goal. Both teams starting to settle up a little bit. And Silas looking like game 2 Silas. Fast start, good finish, but not enough speed on that shot as a good save out of the back line. And Lubbock starting to panic a little bit. They need to find an out. And Ghosty's trying to keep this one in the midfield. And a final clear will mean that we're back to ping pong as both teams looking for that opportunity.
And honestly, I don't really know how Lubbock has been able to constantly recover time and time again. I felt like Silas should have scored at least 3 or 4 times by now with the presence that they have had on that goal line. But somehow, some way, Lubbock, time and time again, even after being boost-starved, even after being demoed, managed to recover and find themselves back in position to play defense.
And it is that defense that helped them get through game number 1. And it's their offense that has carried them since. It's been a game, really, of constant offense, of efficiency, as another point of panic from Silas. And Lubbock not quite ready to pounce as they are looking to bring that sight closer as they tie up the game.
Now, I have to watch this one back because I was sure I saw at least 2 defenders back here. One making the challenge, the other in position, but no! They hit the lip. That is a feels bad. How many times has that happened to you? I know it's happened to me countless times.
And it's the worst feeling. You're trying to play back post, you're trying to slow down, and just one missed positioning of your wheels will send you just far enough away and unable to respond, as that looked like an open net for Rocket, but no boost, not quite having the position they wanted, and a good bump from Ghosty to allow space as Rocket refuel, taking to the skies, drops it down, and it's straight back to Silas possession. And it is, as we near halftime, all tied up. Both of these teams knowing just how impactful it is. Lubbock wanting a title after getting top 8 at Nationals last season, and Silas looking to make a statement in what I believe is their first season here in the EGFH.
Well, let's see if they can get the job done here. It's still a tie ball game in game number 4, right at 2:20, 10 minutes past halftime. Lubbock still patrolling that midfield line, doing a decent job for the most part, but now Miata will take a turn, but doesn't have the boost nor the juice to put that one on target. But at least for the time being, Silas does have this ball mostly within their control, but that demo will put this one back into the Silas half.
It's so tight, some physicality coming out of the Silas back line, as the last 30 seconds have been all Lubbock. But we know with both of these teams, it can get dangerous very, very fast when they're on these tight offensive rotations. You run at a boost, and there might just be a counterattack waiting from the other team, as a double commit on the backboard working out for Lubbock. A clear right back up to Clavian, but Ghosty still managing to find contest after contest, and now an opportunity to center, and it's sent away by Rocket.
And again, it's really just been a battle back and forth at that midfield line, and that shot just goes a little high, not being able to go for Lubbock. Meanwhile, it's really just been a battle of the boost-offs for the most point, and you could really see time and time again that they're trying to really take control of the midfield line by snagging these side boosts. Again, Clavian able to do just that as the ball does find itself into the Lubbock half, but not before being stolen away by your hairline.
Oh, and it was so close to being another quick transition. Shots on target. No one's got the angle, and Clavian reads the Silas defense like a book as Lubbock take the lead on match point.
Yeah, Clavian part avian being able to take to the sky to get that one to drop down on the dime. Now it is a 1-goal lead for Lubbock High School, just under a minute to go.
And this minute is what Silas needs to try and fight for this championship. They lose this game, their tournament is over, and Lubbock will be your American A champions. It's going to come down to Miata, Ghosty, and Soner to find this finish, but it's still been all Lubbock all game, as nearly another chance from Rocket. A double commit on the attacking side as Lubbock nearly stretching themselves too thin.
Yeah, but now look at Lubbock on the attack yet again, and now Rocket got tired of being the one to pass the ball. They want to put it into the back of the net with a nice self-pass off the sidewall, sending a laser right nearly dead center. And, of course, Will Dab on the defense. Lubbock High up 2 with just 21 left on the clock.
And this is going to be quite the comeback if Silas can find 2 goals in 20 seconds as the seconds tick away. They put up quite the show in game 2, but the adjustments from Lubbock since have been too strong. Rocket leading this team, finding that insurance goal, and now bringing it to the ground will mean that Lubbock are the grand champions for the American A Conference, as this will hold up, and Lubbock want one more for good measure. 2 back-to-back 4-goal games to finish their season undefeated.
And a great game it was. It was so close, too. For a moment there, it looked as though Silas may be taking control yet again to turn things around, but Lubbock was able to shut the comeback then and there. Now, you have your champions, Lubbock High School, after a spectacular performance, literally going from 1-goal games to being able to come through with 4 goals there at the end. And look at this. They are no stranger to passing the ball around yet again. This time, it was your hairline who was really able to share the sugar. 3 assists on the board and 4 total goals. Not a bad pass percentage at all. And all the while, they had 11 shots on target.
So much team play coming out of Lubbock. I was just really impressed with both of these teams. Again, top 2 contenders in their respective conference, looking hungry, looking incredibly strong. And the adjustments they were able to make was just so impressive for players at this level. And Lubbock, a very well-deserved win.